Hello. Okay, so it's 1:44 on the clock. You could be seeing those numbers, the 144,000 harmonics has been a topic that kind of weaves through off and on throughout my channels, and what sort of like inspired me to start recording. I just made I think they're called Reels or Reel on Instagram, and I kept hearing the word whirlwind. And it's funny, every time I go to create something on Instagram, I always am like, ugh, I don't know, it's still like a little bit of a challenge for me to start it, and I'm always like, what am I gonna say? I don't know, it's just one of those things. But then every single time I run out of room and have to edit to make room. So it's like, yeah, there could be something also that you have a process like that where it's like starting is the hardest part. And then once you start, it's like, whoa, then you can't stop. That can just be for a few of you. But okay, yeah, the word whirlwind. And I just released the last transmission. I think I called it like signs and syncs flow, unique signs and syncs flow transmission. And I just got distracted because I think someone just pulled up. Yeah, so there can be a little bit of distraction energy coming in here and there, maybe more than here and there for some of you. 155 on the timer. But yeah, it's like these breadcrumbs. Some people call it like the cosmic breadcrumbs, have been like leading up to something. Hold on. So I paused. The flow of energy may have changed since I was last speaking. I paused at 2:11. So, and it's interesting because I woke up last night. I had 2 kittens sleeping with me, and they woke me up at 3:11. So lots of number codes right now. Okay, I'm just gonna tune back in. So a few things. Back to that word whirlwind and like this idea of, you know, cosmic breadcrumbs or however it comes through for you. So right after I was writing the Instagram post thing, I knew I was going to be tapping more into like the word whirlwind, and why that was coming through so strongly. And the other day I used, this might sound super silly, but I used a rose emoji, which I feel like I don't often do. But I was like really paying attention to roses, and I've been like talking about Bulgarian roses. I go through my phase with, I just have this fascination with Bulgarian roses, and I want to grow them one day. Anyway, of course, then the rosary lineage and the different names that sort of imprint through the rosary lineage. I've heard the Sisterhood of the Roses, the Cosmic Rose. There's different variations. And so you can feel connected to that. The High Priestess in the tarot, that archetype has been coming through in the craziest ways as well. So regardless of gender, there could be the archetype of the High Priestess that is very much so present, and or something that you may be feeling called to. Okay. So then right after I post this reel or whatever, I get a notification on my YouTube that there was a rose emoji, and something told me to click on it because I was going to start recording, but like, you know, when you're just really drawn to something. So I clicked on it, and it's this person who I found really recently who does like readings and stuff, different content on different platforms. This was on YouTube, like I said. Anyway, she was like, and I think she had just posted this like today, and she was like, I keep hearing the word whirlwind, and I was like, oh my God, like I literally just posted about that. And with the rose emoji, and so then she pulled some cards around the energy. Anyway, it was just very synchronistic, and there could be this, especially if you're seeing like repeating ones, particularly woman one, or some other repeating symbol, pattern, number, something that reflects to you that your thoughts, if you want to call it like versions of telepathy, and or I want to say like visions, feelings, things that you experience internally are showing up quicker externally. And I've talked about this before. I know like versions of manifesting can often be surrounded by, you know, like tangible things we want to experience, which is a beautiful process in itself. But this was also coming through as like, yeah, like your own internal world showing quicker and quicker, more externally. Especially like when it's in heart-brain coherence, like in that sort of alignment, and versions of even like maybe experiences, visions, memories, dreams, any way you want to categorize it, that you could have had, you know, some for years, that are starting to like show up now. And in the reading that I clicked on with the rose emoji and the word whirlwind, well, again, I didn't know she was going to say the word whirlwind when I clicked on it. It's like trusting those little inner nudges when you're pulled to something so strongly. And a few years back, this might have been in like 2019, I had this experience where I saw a bunch of puzzle pieces, kind of like Tetris, like the background was back. I meant to say black. Maybe someone here is having a little bit of back issues, or maybe you've been like strengthening your back. There's something about the back. And I just heard the song in my head from Amy Winehouse. God, I haven't heard that in a while. Back to Black. That could be for a few of you. But yeah, and I've probably spoken of this before, and my crown just started tingling, where I was seeing all of these, yeah, kind of like Tetris, like these moving puzzle pieces, but they were actually like a jigsaw puzzle piece, not a Tetris piece, but in the format of Tetris, how they like move around. And yeah, it was like very animated, and the pieces were like bioluminescent against a black background. My eyes were closed and I just saw it appear. Anyway, since then, puzzle pieces have been a very significant sign for me. And in this reading, she was talking about like, you know, it's like when you're about to finish a puzzle, like a final puzzle piece. I'm also being shown a movie. Oh my God, what's it called? The Life of the After Party or something. I think it was on Netflix, about a girl who dies and then comes back, and her best friend can see her, but they were fighting when they died. And there was a really significant storyline about puzzling. They used to puzzle together, and there was something about a missing puzzle piece. So yeah, there's just these different things coming in. And another thing that could be coming through is, so you may be someone, again, this feels like for people who have really been like internally renovating internally, and perhaps the external has felt a little bit maybe mismatched or not as matched up with how you've been, experiencing internally. There may be, you know, versions or subtle. The kittens are at my door. These two kittens here, they're sisters. They are so vocal. Like they have, I don't know, there's just something about them. Like they have no problem. They're just like constantly like, this is what I need. And I just feel like her coming right now. Hi, cutie. Do you want a little love? Hi, baby. She's probably looking for her sister. No, she just wanted to be pet. Yeah, but there's something about that. Maybe you've been like working on speaking up for your needs, but you know, it's kind of like when we're practicing something and we're new at it, it may not come out in the most clear way or the most calm way. you know? So there could be something for a few of you about that you've been like rebalancing. How to communicate like your needs, your boundaries, your wants, things like this. But yeah, another indication that this may be something that you are experiencing, or this may be for you. There may be people around you, like friends, loved ones, people you know, people you spend time with. Even if you may be not around people as much as you think you are, just still people who you interact with in some way. In person, online, doesn't matter. You could be noticing like they're having successes that maybe like they were having a hard time for a while. Like things are starting to come in for others around you. And there may be this like internal, ooh, what is that? I'm petting the kitten and her throat literally just started like, it felt like she was swallowing like a rock. That is so strange. Are you okay? She seems fine. Okay, well, symbolically, of course, when we talk about like miasma, karma miasma, like there could be throat center areas. Yeah, I keep getting this week like the mind's eye, the heart, the high heart, and the throat. Like there's a really intense clearing going on, or collapse. We can say collapse, a collapse of miasma, and so a clearing in those areas. I've been getting that really strongly. Now my ears are going off, especially my right ear. So you could be having some pressure shifting in the ears, pitches, maybe like uncomfortableness around like the sinuses, this whole area. And yes, do you hear her? Hi, pretty girl. So yeah, back to there could be I was talking about an internal conflict where like you're so happy that people around you are starting to, you know, receive, you know, whether it's someone, for example, some things around me like putting their house up for sale and thinking they're only going to get a little bit, but really it's worth more than they thought. Or creating different projects and then suddenly having people interested in it, and they set up an event and then do really well. And they're like, whoa, I didn't expect this, you know, like just different things like this. People applying for things and not hearing back for a long time, then all of a sudden they're accepted to something. Or it doesn't have to be a long time, but these are just some examples. And yeah, I was just feeling the collective, there may be this like a little bit of internal maybe guilt, like maybe you've been putting in, you know, just this, if you want to use the word work, for so long, and maybe it feels like you're not harvesting as quickly at all. Like maybe it's been a while and everyone around you seems to be, and you're like genuinely so happy for them, but you're kind of like, am I doing something wrong? Is there something wrong with me? I don't want to feel this way. This won't be for everyone, but it was coming through like so strongly. So, yeah. And they say sometimes like to be able to continue having that like, you know, speaking of the high priestess, that deep intuition, like, and a lot of these things you may have felt before they were coming for others too. And this is like showing you like, whoa, like I felt this for this person, or I prayed for this person, and this is not to say like single-handedly, you know, oh, I am making this happen for everyone necessarily. It's more like, yeah, like energy is potent and contagious, and it can kind of be a guiding light for others around, even if it's kind of behind the scenes, like the high priestess, silent. You know, like you may not even be telling people you're doing this, and in most cases I don't think you would be, or at least not in that way of like, yeah, like this is not like a, I am doing this for you, you know? I don't know, it's hard for me to explain, but that's what I feel. So this is just a, I guess like a hopeful, like, now I'm seeing the star card in tarot, like you know, if you ever have these moments of like maybe just feeling a little bit left behind or a little bit isolated or something like that, that phrase, rejection is divine protection. I know that can sometimes feel like a cop-out, but it's coming through really strongly. yeah, and just this idea of when I picked up when I picked up the kitten, she's literally vibrating and purring and just gave me a little like Eskimo kiss. Maybe some of you have like a furry friend or some sort of animal companion, whether physically in the past, maybe like a guide, a spirit guide, if you will, something like this, that's coming through for you. This kitten is gray with little spots. She looks like a little leopard. So felines can be significant, but it doesn't have to be. But yeah, I'm also seeing a jaguar and a panther. I often confuse jaguars and panthers. I don't know why, but there's like a crisscross. So there could be some sort of like hybrid animal too. Like maybe there's an animal that comes to you that is like, you think it's one thing, but it's another, but there's like energy from both of those animals. That's like very specific. I'm also seeing a white wolf, and particularly with a blue eye and a green eye. I know it's very specific, but okay, what was I saying? But yeah, this is just like a okay, I'm just clicking in to see. I just heard the movie The Predator. I've actually never seen it, but I know there's something about clicking. I'm not sure why that came out. Also, like different tribes, when they do clicking, that's also coming through. These are just like probably specific things for specific people, so not all of them may sit with you, but or any of them. Yeah, I've been coughing. I'm releasing mucus. Sorry to be gross. The last few days, like I feel like I was doing that for a while, and then it kind of stopped, and then like I would say the last 2 days, it's really ramped up. And it's interesting though, it's not nearly as much as it used to be, so there could be something like that happening for some of you as well. Okay, let's see. I also was being shown, I just heard Kansas, and Wizard of Oz is coming through. Oh, bubbles of light, spheres of light. I was just speaking the other day on Patreon. So they say some of the like occult symbolism translations in the Wizard of Oz is like the Glinda the Good Witch floats in her bubble that kind of represents like the Merkaba. So some of you could be tuning into like your light ship, your light vehicle, your Merkaba, and or deepening your connection to that if you're already pretty clicked into that. It feels like there's a rotation shift as well. So let's say you have, everyone's connection to the Merkaba is their own unique expression. So you may feel like it's sort of spinning faster and or more angles are present. Like I remember at one point I had, when I first started more consciously clicking into it, I would see these two triangles that would intersect. So one would be right side up and the other would be upside down, and they would meet in the middle. And like one day I had this like huge expansion where I was like shown a higher perspective, and then the spinning was like expanded and rotating, and there were more lines and angles that came in, and that's just one example. So there could be something like this happening. Hi. I got distracted by giving a belly rub to this cute kitten. Okay. Also, it felt like something just jumped on the bed behind me, but there's nothing there. So you could be having experiences like that. Like maybe if you're in bed and you feel like, for some of you, this could be an animal that you used to have that's no longer with you. Like maybe they would jump a certain way on the bed, and then like you're feeling that, but nothing's there, and you may feel like crazy. That's just a very specific example, but there could be other, it doesn't have to be an animal, it doesn't have to be in bed, but that could be happening to some of you. Or you feel like something touches you and then there's nothing there, like phantom touches can be coming through. Again, the idea of telepathy or feeling words, experiences before they happen could be coming through even more strongly. Okay, so I was talking about another dream that I had, and I shared this before, hold on, no, let me jump back. I was actually going to talk about on Patreon these radiant light spheres and sort of what looks like branches that form in the crack of an egg, like kind of like when an egg cracks and you see it like start to create all these little pathways. So I was speaking of this experience that I've been having for years and how I had this connecting dots moment on Patreon, like in real time while I was recording. Like it all just kind of flowed together. I could not have planned that any better. It was very magical in the moment. But anyway, plasma gel rings and light spheres that connect through the emerald, what some in Keylontic science is called like the emerald tree of life and the Cathara grid. So these are just some phrases that are coming through. Some of you may be interested, some of you may not be, and that's okay. If you are, I dive way deeper into it on Patreon. So I just wanted to bring that up because I was feeling that coming through, and I actually am starting to do my best to create like a sort of slide presentation to help connect what it is that I'm experiencing, because these things are, like I was saying in the last YouTube transmission, like we have our own unique connection to a lot of these concepts and ideologies, and Keylontic science for me has really helped express externally what I've been feeling internally for such a long time, but it may not connect with someone else, so I don't know, it's really important for me to show up in a way that always includes like your own unique perspective as well. So yeah, if you ever have anything to say, I hope you can feel free to do that. I don't know if I say that a lot, but the invitation is always there. So yeah. Okay. So back to this dream that I have shared multiple times, but it continues to come back around. And it was this dream where, so if you've heard it before, just take it as confirmation that like, you may also be very clicked into this type of experience, or this like idea of choosing a life path experience or like a soul's blueprint or imprint that's similar. Because I knew this dream was not just like, it felt like showing me things, then also like a collective thing that, for those who feel tuned into this. Anyway, so in the dream, it basically was showcasing a Ferris wheel, and I was on this Ferris wheel, and I went on by myself, and I was enjoying the view. It was nighttime, and I saw a lot of lights around, and everything was just, just living my life. And then I get off this Ferris wheel, and it was like a 1940. Okay, I meant to say 1940s reporter, but when I had all those words come out at once, it reminded me of like someone saying like an 18-footer. I don't know, people say that about like trailers and trucks. My dad was a truck driver, so he'd be like, oh yeah, I pulled an 18-footer today. Or like if someone likes boats, like I think they use that terminology. That could just be for a few of you. But you can also look up symbolically like what maybe a boat can represent, something like that. Anyway, so I get off of this wheel, of course, the Wheel of Fortune and Tarot, the Wheel of Karma. A lot of this symbology was coming through when I woke up from the dream. Anyway, I pop off. I'm just walking by myself, looking around this area where I was, and this 1940 style reporter with like those old school like big cameras that flash, with like literally like a pencil and a pad, and like speaks really fast, like fast talking, like blah, blah, blah. And he's like, how does it feel? And I was like, what are you talking about? And he just kept asking me, how does it feel to know that everything you ever wanted has just happened? And I was like, what are you talking about? I was just on a Ferris wheel by myself. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he was like, basically like, you just got proposed to. And I was like, I'm not even in a relationship. It was just like hilarious. And he was like, yeah, like you're famous. Like everyone knows who you are. And you've been telling the truth this whole time, and now you're being rewarded. And this sounds like so, I can't believe I'm sharing this because it sounds so ridiculous, but I think this underlying message was like those who who maybe have been moving at what looks like an externally slower pace, but doing things, clicking into your own like integrity and your own sort of inner blueprint that may not make a logical sense, but that is the way that you feel that you need to move through. A white butterfly just flew by my window as I was saying that. Yeah, it feels like this whirlwind energy is connected to that, like moving that law of karma, like when you feel like you're a transmuter of perhaps the ancestral karmic patterns. God, my throat just seized up. You may feel connected to like what some people call the witch wound, you know, like the energy of being burned at the stake kind of thing. It doesn't have to be literal for all of you. Like there's different, I think, soul themes or soul groups that come through in different memories of different evolutions on Earth that have had some of this come through, whether it's yourself and or again ancestral. Anyway, so yeah, it feels like this this breakthrough, this whirlwind, that it's like it may feel like a lot of things start happening at once. And now please really use your discernment, because if I never want to create false hope or anything like that. I'm just bringing through what I feel really strongly. And yeah. But something does feel very exciting. And it's kind of like the patience being rewarded, although what you set out to do doesn't feel like it was for rewards. And even though you may have those moments of like, oh, like, okay, I've been really going at this, like, am I on the right track here? Yeah, it just feels like I just moved my hand and it went like almost as if like it just flipped upside down. Like, you know, when people will say like, oh, everything's being served on a silver platter, like that's like the energy that my hand was feeling. So yeah. And I was talking about on Instagram, my friend has this garden, and it just amazes me because she gardens completely from her own, what she feels. And she grows vegetables for people. She doesn't even like vegetables. And she does research here and there, but it's a lot of just trial and error. And like now her garden is literally like a small jungle. Like she's creating a lush small jungle in the middle of Northeast Philadelphia, where we're from. Anyway, I bring her up because when I was staying with her off and on, we were both obsessed with, she had this black calla lily, and I did post about it on Instagram. And she's been trying to get it to bloom, like seriously I feel like it's been a few years. And then she went away last week and came back and everything was like, you know, a little bit overgrown. So she ripped some things up and started moving them around. I don't know if it was right before or right after. And then boom, out of nowhere, these black calla lilies sprouted this week. And she was like, oh my God, like, cause we both were like talking about it all the time. And I've been saying for a while this idea of like 7 of Pentacles in tarot, like past seeds that you've planted that are starting to bloom, and maybe things that you've forgotten about. It could be literal for some of you, like this black calla lily, which I looked up and can represent elegance, mystery, and transformation. And I heard someone recently say, like, it was really beautiful. I think she calls herself Bathrobe. She has a YouTube channel, something with bathrobe in it. And she was saying, like, spiritual abilities, like, some people might mistake it as thinking, like, you need to know everything or, you know, have the answers all the time. But, like, that's not it. It's just, like, clicking into this, you know, more soul-led or flow-like experience that you can be shown certain things, but it doesn't mean that you have to know everything. In fact, like, it's like the more you accept that we don't know everything and embrace that like mysterious, magical aspect of life, you know? There is an oracle deck, a lot of animals coming through. The Animal Oracle from Tony, I always forget her full name. It's like a hyphenated name. Anyway, there's a card in there. It's the whale, trust the great mystery. And I'm seeing that and feeling that very heavily right now. So yeah, it's like this beautiful paradoxical, like sometimes the more we think we know, the less we do, and vice versa. It's like, yeah, a lot of these paradoxical, whales and dolphins have been coming through so much. So some of you can be really clicking into Hemi-Synching has been coming through as well. Akashic records and or cloister door Torah plates. There's like this, or some other way that you connect with like etheric records. You may be having dreams of like libraries, books, scrolls, and or visions, or just like an internal feeling or knowing. The emerald tablets are also coming through, but there's like this drop down channel connection that feels like it's clearing and strengthening for whoever is listening to this. The angelic crystalline DNA, the crystalline consciousness, the rainbow aura is also coming through. A rainbow aura. Yeah, so energy signatures, you may be like tuning in deeper, even if you're not doing this consciously. Like some of you, if you're interested in this, there's some sort of like inner knowing that may be like going off for you right now. I'm also sitting out my window is an almond tree, and I'm being taken back to, so there could be something about almonds, or if anyone wants to look up the spiritual symbolism or a fun fact about an almond tree, I'm not going to do it, but please feel free to, because I just felt that. And I don't know, I just think they're so beautiful. I love these almond trees. They're so cool. They're kind of like nature's umbrella, I feel like. So umbrellas could be significant, but yeah, there's that protectiveness. The word protective has been coming through, and a deep, this idea of rebirthing. And I want to say there's something else that I can feel, but every time I try to say it, it like escapes me for a second. So that could be happening to you as well. There's something about like really trusting your timing and not trying to like pull in and force something before it's ready. Because it's like, you know how sometimes you're trying to think something and then you forget about it and then it pops in? I don't know, I'm getting that. Maybe that's been happening for some of you lately. Yeah, it still hasn't popped back in. I just looked at my clock and it's 2:22. Yeah, so you may be also being really flooded with number synchronicities. Subconscious rewriting. That song, this is so cheesy, Unwritten, just popped in my head from, I think her name is Natasha Bedingfield, something like that. A yellow butterfly just flew by. Also, like, the energy of something ending has been coming through really strongly too, so you may be like leaving something, closing out something that feels like whatever it is that is being concluded, it feels like it's part of a bigger cycle that's like officially being closed out. I'm seeing repeating eights. Some of you may be kind of tapping into that Lion's Gate energy. No matter when you're finding this, there could be something significant about that if you feel connected to. In the last Patreon overflow, the metallic energy has been coming through so strongly. I've been feeling like a metallic energy signature, metallic auric imprints. And again, the whales and the dolphins are also popping in. So cosmic consciousness, cosmic color code is something that I've been talking about a lot. Yeah, okay, I think I'm going to leave it here. But I will be going into a deeper dive on Patreon in the overflow. So if you feel so called, I do have like the membership option, and or you can purchase individual transmissions that you feel connected to. Okay, thank you.